Hey guys, what is going on? So I thought, let's go through the nades that maybe aren't too sexy. The default nades, the ones that are incredibly important for taking map control, such as your mids on Mirage and Cache, or toilets and Overpass outside on Nuke. You get the idea. We're going to go through all of them today, all the essential nades that everyone should be knowing. An amateur team, up to professional team, and a lot of these are even going to be applicable in your pugs in general. Just even if you're playing by yourself, you want to call out a simple smoke, it's going to help your team out a lot. First thing you need is some kind of jump, bind, throw. This one on screen is probably the easiest one to do. Allows you to hit N, which is going to be the equivalent of letting go of your mouse button, and do something like that. Hit both those keys at the same time with one finger. Allows you to do the most consistent jump throws possible. Now, smoking window on Mirage. Very simple. Into this bin, you're going to find this white patch up to the top of the railing. Hold down your D or whatever you use to move right, and you're just going to push your jump through. Never letting go of that D, so you're always moving towards the right. Pops on top of that bin, and that's going to be a very easy window smoke from spawn. Now, accompanying this often from teams is going to be a short smoke. In towards this corner, you're going to find this little piece of dirt, or I don't know what you even call it, into this window, and you're going to line it up a little bit like this here. And this one does require a little bit of practice. You can see if I zoom my AWP, I'm aiming about there. Again, I'll try and zoom in, you guys can work it out yourself. I line it up with my particular crosshair, so if you're using a different crosshair, it's going to look a little bit different to that. But again, this one's smoking over, or flying over and smoking short. This one pops the fastest, which is why a lot of teams use it, despite the fact it leaves a little bit of a gap here where someone could potentially creep around. But it's pretty easy to combat this. You got your window smoke as well. Teams will come down, hug on this wall. They're pre-aiming this. There's really, if you're there as a CT, you're at a disadvantage anyway, so no one tends to do it. Now, along with these comes a con molly, and this is one that I see teams, even at the latest major, some of the lower ranked teams are actually doing it incorrectly and potentially giving the CTs an option for a pick, is they'll come out top middle, they'll just molly it a little bit, something like this, and you might think this is good. I'm not going to let anyone peek out there, but if you're quite quick, you can actually go over this molly, peek that, and then run away again. You're going to take a little bit of damage, and you can sit here above that Molotov and get a good pick as this CT AWPer. So these teams that have obviously taken this into consideration have been punished by this in the past. Often see them lining up this particular Molotov up to the top of that, and maybe out a little bit wider, might help. Definitely would help, trust me. And that one's going to Molotov off the floor and up on the ledge, allowing no peek or no one to hold with that CT AWPer. Some teams, such as Astralis, actually worked it out running, so it's going to look a little bit something like that. You're going to get to land on the ledge. I think this one I might have stuffed up. A little bit less consistent. Yeah, you can see this one they could potentially be holding here. So I prefer the standing one. There's not much advantage to this, except you look sexier. It's a little bit faster if you want to rush up. But in most scenarios, this standing one's going to be the one to go to. And then, of course, there's the two ways to just smoke off top mid. Top of the bin, this is one you all use in matchmaking. Or if you want to go towards A and save a little bit of time, into the same corner as the short smoke. And that one's also going to do top middle if someone's already towards that bin. That's Mirage done. Now, Inferno is a weird one because you can't take control of this top brackets area and also banana. So the utility set that's always the same is basically this jungle smoke, and it's a bit different at the top level to what you might have been taught. A lot of people get taught this particular smoke here, which is going to land off towards the archway. However, this isn't the best smoke you can throw because CTs, if there's two players here, can boost over it. They're going to cause a lot of trouble for you when you're trying to take this brackets area. So smokes we've seen top teams bring in is Astralis like this one. They line themselves up in here, in between there, pretty self-explanatory. Walk forward just a little bit and let that one go. And that one's going to land a lot deeper, preventing this boost. Even if you move your player back behind, you're not going to be able to see anything. Or an alternate to this is in the same position as before, in towards this corner. Make sure you're coming in this way, by the way, not in that way. It's a slightly different lineup. And you're going to find the shadow on this part of the leaf here. So it's just going to be lined up like so. You can see this one's going to land in pretty much the exact same space, depending on what you want to do. And it's going to prevent that boost as well. So that's a jungle smoke that's a lot better. Also a little bit more awkward with this smoke for an AWPer trying to hold. You can see it's a lot weirder for you trying to hold this corner where you like to play with an AWP. Out like this, flash through it. A lot more space for T-side to move, make this AWPer feel a little bit less comfortable than the standard smoke. And the other thing that's nice and early into a round that's very standard as well is a Molotov in towards boiler to prevent that AWPer peeking from this window. And it's pretty easy. You're just going to be running up second mid, find yourself in about this area here, aim slightly above this antenna, so about there, and obviously above the window. And that's going to be just a running through, get that one in the window, nice and easily. And you can see that Molotov's going to spread a long way around here, stopping anyone going for that early peek. So that's mid, second mid. Besides that, flashes and stuff vary for that top mid control. Look at some demos I'm going to go through. This isn't a video about taking the brackets control. And the last very default thing about Inferno is this fast banana Molotov. Astralis throw theirs coming up, aiming at the top of this wall and the middle of this barrel, so they're going to come around this corner. aim to throw something like that. You can see what this does is the Molotov's off a nice area at the top here. Doesn't worry about the back of these barrels, that's not the concern. Because the worst case scenario for you as a T team is this CT player with a good spawn smoking that off, peeking out nice and wide with some flashes from his teammate, and taking control of this without having to use much utility. So the point of these Molotovs is to spread into this area as much as possible, deter this early peek, and if they do go for this peek, give you the biggest advantage possible when taking this. So they're not really worried about mauling the back of the car. It's the exact same thing for Ents with the Molotov they throw. They come out the top here, they're going to aim at the top of that barrel there. And notice these are thrown from very near the T stairs as well, so they pop early, doing as much damage as possible to anyone trying to peek. So they'll know a little bit short, but you get the idea. They're not worried about the back of the car, it's stopping this early peek, and that's the Molotov the top teams will use. For Overpass, most of these nades are pretty self-explanatory. The first one being denying the short water control from the CTs. You're going to find yourself on top of where this wire shadow meets the big part of the shadow. You're going to aim bottom of this B out towards there, and that's going to be a jump through. But again, speed. You want to be fast, you want to be getting towards that monster area. So you're going to have to practice that on the fly. So teams will come up, they'll line it up like this, do a jump through, and continue on their way. And you can see that one's going to molly off this short position. Normally the CTs will counter with their own Molotov, such as something very similar to that. It's going to be a bit of a standoff. You got to choose whether you want to smoke to run through this. They got to choose the same. So you're not throwing this Molotov. CTs have a big advantage taking this short water control. Now, that's it towards B. Fast smokes towards the front of toilets to get rid of all of those AWP angles. First one's going to be into the edge of just railing like so. You're going to find that shadow there. It looks a little bit hectic probably in my video, but once you get in game, it's very easy to spot that. You're going to aim at that, and we're going to bring back the jump through. That's going to be for the front of toilets. You want to accompany this, which is towards that sandwich position, is you're going to line yourself up like this. You're going to find this very faint line here. It's a little bit easy to see in game again. Just aim up into basically you reach there. So it's going to look a little bit something like this and do another jump through. You can see that's our front toilet smoke, denying information there. And that one's going to land in towards sandwich. Again, both of these popping very fast if you want to go for some kind of rush towards this area. Maybe try and catch an AWPer off guard. Now let's say you've slowed things down a little bit, however, and you've come out here, you've defaulted, your AWPers may be posting towards this. The front toilet smoke we're now seeing used most recently is this one here. So you're going to find these two shadows on towards this tree trunk, in towards the middle pretty much, and then up to where this little leaf point or arrow is. So it's going to look a little bit something like that. Again, front toilets pops relatively fast when you need it to. It's a lot closer towards if you are trying to go back towards B to rotate back this way, but you can also very easily run out towards party. Now to accompany this is often a Molotov, so you'll throw that smoke. Obviously smokes last a lot longer than Molotovs, so this is now landed. Throw some flashes, get control of this. Very common one is jump on towards the side of this thing. That's what it is. Find that red sign in the distance, basically up towards the top of the roof there, and just give it a little bit of a push through. That's going to Molotov off sandwich, denying any AWPer sitting on those angles, trying to AWP towards here. So basically they're going to burn alive, forcing them off that angle, and then obviously they're not going to be holding this because there's a smoke there, so you're going to force the AWPer back all the way towards site, allowing you to take control of this. You can have fast smokes or the molly smoke combination I just showed you, or a mixture of the two depending on what you want. And the last thing for denying information and allowing yourself to get up towards this long area is very simply, you're just going to find yourself on top of here, again pretty rough, so you can just run up here, find the middle of this T and this K in the distance, just aim at the floor, or the bottom right there. You can see that's going to come and smoke off the end of that. So anyone that you force back towards the site has no information how many players are gathering behind this. You're going for some kind of long hit, and that's pretty much all the default smokes and Molotovs done. All very useful. Dust 2, you already have mid control as a T side, so the main thing you're competing for is this long control. So fast smoke towards the corner helps you out, force the CTs nice and wide. The easiest ones line up with the left side of this Eve here and left side of this dot. This is one we've seen pro teams use, and this is because right out of spawn you can come here very fast, line that up, and that smoke's going to pop before either team reaches their corner. Your team can rush, your team members with the good spawn can rush, throw their flashes, and that smoke's going to be down, ready for them to fight and contest this long control, which in my mind is a contested area similar to mid on most other maps. For cash, we'll start with a very basic util set towards B to deny any information. Allow yourself up for a B execute if you want. Middle is dirty part of the wall. Up to that, run forward and through. That's going to smoke off this first entrance. If you're worried about an AWPer getting in front of it, you can turn around, throw something on a flash like this to get him off the line, and then follow up that smoke with a Molotov just off the corner there, going in towards checkers. So basically there's no angle possible for anyone to get any information from the CT side, and allows you to do as you will, get into sunroom or do whatever you want to do basically towards this B side of the map. Now, if mid control is more of your thing, then my favorite util set, there's a whole bunch of them, but it's just this one here. So this pillar side of this up to the top of angled roofing, so it's going to be a lineup pretty much there. That's going to be jump through, very easy Z-con. And the reason I like this one is because you can get one player to do the smoke and the Molotov towards sandbags. The Molly's going to be lining up there, running to the right and doing a jump throw when you hit that point. So this is going to be the hardest thing I'm going to teach throughout this video. So into the corner, same one as the smoke. Do a jump throw when you hit that point, and that's going to molly off this sandbag's position along with the smoke towards Z-con. Now often you also have someone boosted up here when you're taking this mid control. If you want to deny any information down highway, easiest smoke's going to be line yourself up like this on the boost, obviously. Stay crouched down. You're going to find this zigzag pattern, the fourth one, off to the right until you're out this way a little bit from this point. So it's going to be a line up a little bit like that there. Staying crouched, as I said, and that's going to be a smoke for top highway. Denying any information from an AWP or maybe quad, trying to AWP this really long line down towards middle. And with all that utiled off, you should be able to quite safely take mid control. Vent isn't something that's very commonly Molotoved anymore. That used to be a little bit more fashionable, but if you want to do it, it's lined up with this here, top of this piping, up to the top of this window here, and you're going to be running forward and throwing that one. That's going to go in towards vent and molly all of that if you are interested. And that's basically all the default nades you're going to need for cash. Coming out of spawn is a T-side on train. You want to be denying a lot of information outside if possible. So most rounds you'll see teams throwing smoke such as this one here. It's going to be for sandwich, and in the middle of this manhole, in between these two pipes up to the middle of the sun, it's going to be for E-box. So very fast two smokes out of spawn as the CTs are still going to try and get position outside. You're going to have a lot of vision denied from them as around this bomb train, maybe trying to get in towards that pop dog area. And accompanying these smokes, I'm just going to lob flashes over the top as the T side, probably a little bit higher and better than that, but forcing the CTs to look away, and it makes it hard for them to keep track. Whether you have snuck out into a position like this or out towards Olov, just keeps them on their toes, force them to be a little bit more thorough early in the round, so that one round where you do give something fast outside, they're kind of accustomed to it, and it's basically just a conditioning couple of smokes you're going to throw early on. Out towards vines to get control of this area. Very simple smoke, basically just there, run forward, let go of it. That's going to fly in here. Get rid of anyone towards this dark side. That's what I like to call it. Sunny side, dark side kind of makes sense. And then often accompanying this is some kind of Molotov. You don't have to peek with it, but just anything in general that's going to cut off this other side and basically force any CTs getting information down this lane away. They have to retake it, or you can creep up behind, get a flash out, and attack the site like that. And the last thing for train you'll see teams doing is flashing an AWPer off this low ramp on the B site. So you're going to find yourself this position here, pretty self-explanatory. Middle of this sign here, so you'll find the little blue man in the writing, just off to the right, so you're going to be aiming pretty much there with your flash and letting that one fly. And you can see if you're any CT AWPer on this line down here, holding any line possible, that flash is going to get you, force you off the line. You can safely take it as the T side. Even if you're on some kind of weird off angle like up here, the flash is still going to catch anyone off guard, as you can see. And they're the default nades for train, keeping the CTs on their toes. Now with the last map being Nuke, you better believe everything here is stolen straight from Astralis. So if they want to throw the outside wall from spawn, you're going to line yourself up with the left side of this truck here, the very corner of this window up here, and that's going to be a jump through. That's going to be the close smoke for that outside wall, and then the far away one's going to be in the middle, like this here. Find this latch, up to about that height there in between the wire and the top of that post, and that's also going to be a jump through. So you can see the close smoke landing nicely, and then that's going to be the back smoke, creating this nice outside wall. Now to accompany this, there's always that close smoke. So Glave's often the one that does that. He runs out of spawn, middle of this, up to about the height of there, and he just comes out of spawn. He's just going to be throwing that nice and high off the fence, going deep in there, making it so obviously no one can really cross by here. You can even get on top of here and have a little look if you want to try and do that. So that's how they're going to create their smoke wall. Doesn't have to perfectly land in the middle. They prefer the deeper one. Now if they've been defaulting, they're not going to throw these smokes straight from spawn. The close wall is going to be this one here from Dupree. So he's going to land himself up with the edge of this box. Unfortunately, this is a view model lineup. So you're going to see this piece of dirt here. It's a little bit more obvious in game, but you can see the little cluster here. So through the smoke, I'm actually going to pull my pin, put my index finger there. So I apologize. You're going to have to work this out. I am using default view model. So if that's you as well, hopefully that's fine. That's going to be the close smoke landing. And the far away one, it's going to be from device often. And how he's going to line himself up is again pretty precise. So you can see these two dots behind the fence. You're going to have this line of dots and that line of dots there. He's actually going to put this piece of wire between the two of them. So it's going to look a little bit something like that. Have himself up against the fence. And then he's going to find, again, that wire and this little piece on the pipe. He's going to aim smack bang in the middle of that. So it's going to be about there. And that's going to be the back smoke. So I'll show them together. This smoke here, line yourself up. Right about there. And you can see that's going to be the back smoke. And this one's going to be the nice close one. And that's going to be your perfect smoke wall. And with that done, that's actually it for these default smokes. Let me know if you found this useful. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll of course catch you all in the next video.